Hi, this is Mo Volans for AskAudio Mag with a bit of a rough and ready tour of the Focusrite Saffire Pro 26. I thought I'd do this to sort of give you a tour of the hardware, so you can see what connectivity there is. You'll have to excuse the focusing. I'm going to have to keep clicking to make sure it's in. But okay, so we've got the front panel. We've basically got two line instrument inputs here. And these double up on the back. I'll show you the rear panel in a second, but these double up on the back here, so they can be mic inputs or high Z instrument inputs on the front. And basically these are controlled by these first two gain knobs here, and you've got instrument and pad buttons for each one, so you can basically switch between mic and instrument quite easily just by clicking those buttons. And you've also got a 48 volt phantom power for all of the mic pre's that you've got. There's 4 mic pre's in total. I'll show you that on the rear panel. We've then got a dedicated volume control monitor knob, and your monitors can be assigned to any of the outputs. Again, we'll see these on the rear panel. And there's nice little dim and mute knobs and buttons, and these aren't actually clickable. You just press them and they fade in, so the dim actually fades and the mute fades, which I found really nice, so they're just quick access. And then we've got one of my sort of favourite features is the dual headphone outputs, and these can be used to create 2 separate cue mixes or submixes for the musicians or 2 different people working on the mix. And obviously these are independently controlled here. We've also got a front mounted power button, which is very useful, I think. So onto the rear panel. Let's just make sure it's in focus there. There you go, I think you can see what's going on. We've got SPDIF in and out, which I think is a great thing, because if you've got a digital effects unit or synth or sampler with SPDIF in and out, it really frees things up and you get that pure sort of digital sound. You use the converters in the unit though, as opposed to in the Focusrite. We've got power in, which you don't have to use, by the way, because there is Firewire and that is bus powered. But basically, if you're going to use the phantom power, which I showed you on the front, you really want to use the 12 volt in. Like I said, Firewire in. We've got MIDI in and out, which is, I think, an awesome addition. I still use 5-pin DIN MIDI. I think it's like the best way to do it. It's nice to have that on a unit if they can fit it on. Optical in for ADAT expandability. So we've got basically 6 inputs here, 4 of them mic preamps, 2 of them line inputs. We'll look at those in a second, but this can be expanded, and I say this in my review, by adding an ADAT sort of interface. So you can add a further 8 ins and outs, I guess. Well, ins definitely, and 8 of these could be mic preamps, so you can really up your mic preamps to sort of 12 and still have 2 lines as well. So this really gives you a huge amount of inputs. Include that with the SPDIF and you've got your full spread. We've then got 6 line outs, and essentially these can be used for anything you want. The first 2 I was using for monitor outs, and you could then go ahead and add 2 more sets of monitors if you wanted. But with this line input here, you could have one of the line outs going to like an effects chain or a hardware compressor, and then back into the line input, and you've basically got a nice effects chain. So we've got 4 mic preamps. Like I say, 2 of them here are just purely mic, and then the other 2 are sort of mixed Nutric combi, and this is so you can have jack or mic, XLR mic straight into these. And the reason these are just purely mic is because, as I showed you on the front, you've got your TRS jack on the front here. So your instrument, this is like quick access to plug a couple of guitars in, or a bass guitar or whatever, and then you've got the rest of your inputs here. So you can see it's really fully featured. We've got a nice metal case. I think the front there's plastic, but it's very very sturdy. We've got metal knobs here and sort of metal effect buttons, but with a nice positive click, and the whole thing's very sturdily built. And I would for $299 really is a bit of a steal, to be honest with you. And if you've used Focusrite gear before, you'll know how solid it is and how well built it is, and the software was no exception. It seems to work very well. So I'd definitely recommend it, and it's definitely one to look out for.